Hey guys, it's G, and I'm here with your NFL Week 2 wrap up. Starting with Game 1, I have the Bills versus the Panthers. The Panthers went into Buffalo and they got the win 9-3 over the Bills, even though no one saw the end zone. Unfortunately, it looks like Cam Newton went down with a little bit of an ankle injury. Hopefully, we'll see him next Sunday. But yeah, nobody got in the end zone, and the Panthers got the win. Next, I have the Buccaneers versus the Bears. The Buccaneers had the first week off due to Hurricane Irma, but they opened up their season with the win over the Bears 29-7. The offense and defense dominated both sides of the ball, so they looked pretty awesome out there. Up next, I have Cleveland versus Baltimore. Deshaun Kaiser left the game with the migraine, but not before throwing 3 interceptions and losing 1 fumble. Baltimore pretty much shined in that game, winning 24-10. Up next, I have Arizona versus Indianapolis, which was another hard-fought game. It went into overtime. Arizona Cardinals ended up getting the win 16-13. Still no word on what's really going on with Andrew Luck in Indianapolis, even though Jacoby Brissett held it down pretty well offensively as best he could, I guess. Up next, I have Tennessee versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville showing that last week looked like a fluke for them because they got beat 37-16 by the Tennessee Titans. Blake Bortles didn't have a great game. Leonard Fournette didn't have a great game. So, yeah, we'll see what the Jacksonville Jaguars do for the rest of the season. Up next, I have a really good game, Philadelphia versus Kansas City. Both teams looked really well. Definitely an exciting game. Both QBs had decent games. Kareem Hunt had another explosive game, finding the end zone twice. But the Kansas City Chiefs ended up winning 27-20 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Up next, I had the New England Patriots versus the New Orleans Saints. Tom Brady was definitely feeling some type of way about his game last week because he came out and he threw for over 400 yards, threw for 3 touchdowns, and went 30 for 39 in his completions. Had an awesome game. Gronkowski had a great game, but unfortunately left with the groin injury, and Rex Burkhead also left the game with the rib injury. So be sure to be on the lookout to see what's going on with those 2 guys off the field. Adrian Peterson definitely still not looking Adrian Peterson-like. So really concerned about what his future is going to be in New Orleans. But anyways, New England Patriots took the win 36-20 over the Saints. Up next, I had Minnesota versus Pittsburgh, and Minnesota kind of looked like a completely different team. I know they didn't have Sam Bradford out there, who's kind of day-to-day with a sore knee. He's had 2 ACL surgeries, so that's kind of concerning to know that his knee is sore and giving him issues. But anyways, the offense didn't look as great as they did last week. Dalvin Cook definitely didn't have the type of game that he did last week. And Pittsburgh got the win 26-9 over the Minnesota Vikings. Then I had Miami versus the Chargers. Miami starts their season after sitting out the first week because of Hurricane Irma against the Chargers out in LA. And it was a hard-fought game. And I think the Chargers, their field goal kicker kind of messed them up. If their field goal kicker did not miss the 2 field goals, they probably would have won the game. But Miami ended up taking the win over the Chargers. Up next, I have the New York Jets versus Oakland. As you guys know, the Jets continue to struggle, but Oakland was out there shining. Derek Carr had a great game, throwing 3 touchdowns to Michael Crabtree. Marshawn Lynch was having a great time on the sidelines. If you have a moment, make sure you Google him getting hypey on the sidelines in front of his hometown in Oakland. He found the end zone, which was pretty nice for him. The Jets didn't have a horrible game, I guess. The defense just couldn't stop Oakland, who had a great game. Oakland ended up winning 45-20 over the New York Jets. Up next, I have Dallas versus Denver. Denver came out swinging. Trevor Siemian had an awesome game, throwing 4 touchdown passes. The defense shut down Ezekiel Elliott, who had his worst game to date. And then Key Talib ended the game with an interception in the end zone and took it back for a touchdown. So the Denver Broncos ended up winning 42-17 over the Cowboys. Then I had Washington Redskins versus the Rams. The Redskins went out to the West Coast in LA and did their thing. They ended up getting the win 27-20 over the Rams. It was a decent game on both sides. Todd Gurley had a pretty good game too. But yeah, Washington ended up getting the win out there in LA. Then I had San Francisco versus the Seahawks, which you guys know is pretty much a West Coast rivalry. Both offenses unfortunately struggled. Even though Carlos Hyde had a pretty decent individual game, the Seahawks managed to squeeze out a win in a field goal, which was another game that came down to field goals, but Seahawks ended up getting that win. Then we had the Sunday night game, which was Green Bay versus Atlanta. It was a matchup, which was a rematch of the NFC Championship game last year. And again, Atlanta ran up the score in the first 3 quarters to 35 points. And if you were Atlanta Falcons fans, I would not be comfortable still with the 35-point lead, especially with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. But even though it looked like Aaron Rodgers could get a comeback in the fourth quarter, he didn't. He came up short. Atlanta ended up getting the win 34-23 over the Packers. And then last night's game, Monday night, New York Giants against the Detroit Lions. Eli and the Giants continue to struggle, even though OBJ was out on the field. Brandon Marshall, I know he had a few passes he wished he could get back. He dropped some pretty major passes from Eli, and the defense shined because they held Matthew Stafford to only 122 yards, I think, passing. So the defense is out there playing their butts off, but the offense is continuing to struggle. I really hope that they can find some sort of connection out there, and the Lions ended up getting the win, though, 24-10 over the Giants. So that's your Week 2 wrap-up. I'll see you guys later for my weekly predictions, and we'll see how it goes for Week 3. Bye.